there was that wisdom. I quite honestly, even today, and this is a number of decades later, I think, what would Tina do? Or how would she handle that? She was like that. Again, something earned and hard won by the experience of her life. It wasn't glib. It wasn't on the surface. It was really deeply inside her.
I learned a lot in my life. I've experienced a lot that I would like to tell the people, but I don't have the words, verbal words yet to give it. But I'm teaching the people now. Standing on stage, my age, still working, and being as successful as I possibly can be, that's a lesson for the people to see it there without me standing on. The biggest influence in my life was Jane Pittman. She was a black woman that stood against segregation in Mississippi. Actually, she made the walk to the fountain and had a drink. That had nothing to do with my singing career, but it showed determination to move forward when all of the odds are against you.
I think I was trying to say to Ike Turner, I'm your friend. I am your friend. I'm not going to leave you. I'll stand by you until I found that it was being used against me. I stayed a really long time, and it was time to leave. And so I think I did it well. I hope I did. I tried.
Did you ever feel in fear of your life?
Oh, there were many times where I got really knocked out. And we weren't canceling shows because we needed the money. Sometimes I have stood on stage and had pain that you cannot imagine. Black eye, swollen nose, but you go through it. You have to plow through it. You have to suffer with it. You have to sweat with it. Where did that come from? That come from having to do. I needed security for myself, for my family. You have to set a foundation and secure yourself before you can freely go on mentally to the next place. It's common knowledge that Ike took everything, but he didn't. I learned how to survive with Ike. I learned how to perform. I learned how to cover songs and work without a record. This was what I learned. That's what I left him with, knowing that I could always work. And that's bottom line for me now. If I don't have a record, I can always get work because I'm a performer. Today people want to know about what is unpleasant to some people is news for others. And I think the unpleasantness of seeing a person on stage as some people see a star and finding out that off stage that she's beaten and she's tortured and she's, it's gossip.
You've shocked me. You know why? Because when I heard the story of your life and what you'd done and how you'd survived it, I thought, what a story, what a lesson.
That's fine, but we're talking about the life that was lived. Do you understand what I mean? It's all of the ugliness that went on in my life. Sure that I got past it. Yeah, I pat myself on the back for that as far as I've come. But what the part is that I don't like that the people keep dwelling on the part that I cleaned, that I rid myself off, constantly talking about it. Gosh, when I walked out, I never wanted to see it or even know about it again. Let go, forget the blame. Take it on as something happened, you're finished with it, and focus a little bit more on doing something rather than feeling sorry for yourself. People dwell and feel sorry for themselves or what's been done to them or what's been done. If you can let go of that, then the air clears a little bit and you're a little bit more focused on getting other things done that's more positive. I don't have a vengeance. It would be wonderful if Ike could get a hit record and really realize his dream on his own. I forgave Ike when I left him. You see, when I finished, he was in good hands as far as I was concerned. He had money, he had his recording studio, he had his world. Mm-hmm. And then I went out to take care of myself. Forgiving means not to hold on. You let it go, because it only hurts you. Not forgiving, you suffer, because you think about it over and over again. And I think it's very hard to compare lives because our lives are always not the same. It depends on the person and what we want. And it's just a determination that one must have in terms of what they want, and endurance. And not giving up is basically what I can say that I did. And that if one wants to succeed against all odds, you simply must decide what you want and put no limitations on it and just go forward. It might be more difficult for some than others, but what's worth more than going for what you want? Everyone has a dream, I think, but I have to say that your dream cannot work without education. It's essential that it goes hand in hand, because these days you must communicate with people, and if you want to run your business, you would need to have education, or you'll have to depend on someone else, and that is not always comfortable. I met David years ago, maybe one or a few times as I played Switzerland, and we went out to dinner together, and he started talking about so many things, and I said, how do you know about so many things? He said, I never stopped studying. I took that from him, because you don't really have to go to school or have someone to tell you. You just pick up the book or whatever, and you take and you study and you learn. First, there was nowhere else to go. I was a bit insecure about thinking of where I can go and how to do it. I think you must grow. When you finish growing, so to speak, sometimes it's like when you make these kind of moves. And that's how I got it. You see, it was almost just not giving up, not sitting down on a moment. Whenever I had a turn of the stomach, or I moved with the thought, and it's almost like playing chess or something. It was time to make the right chess move.
Where you packed the houses and people were screaming, Tina, Tina. What was that like?
Oh, it started way before that. I think what actually felt good was when I was playing the conventions and I had a hit record. It didn't matter. I was having fun with the people in the hotels. That felt great, because what was good was I organized the girls in their costumes and to have professional costumes finally, you know. All of that professionalism I wanted. The success started before the final success. The success of making decisions for myself and really not really caring about the big stadiums yet, because I had to really get everything right first, meaning my home, my family, hiring and firing. And this set of musicians...
Yeah, you're taking care of children, your mom.
Yes, absolutely. All of that had to be taken care of and considered, and even to choose musicians to work for me, all of that. I don't care about how old I am. I like to live what I feel and how I am. I've been called black and a nigger a few times, but it never really touched me, because to me that's a level below me. It doesn't touch me because that's another intellect, this leveling with ignorance to a point. It's another kind of anger, you see. And I just never was bothered with it.
I've always been basically, in my head, rock and roll, not a set person that put limits on my life. There were no limits. There are no limits.
I take in away from something, or I might get an idea simply from the hair, not how you do yours, but the idea of it. So I think sometimes when you reach out and take something, it's too much of a copy, and so that's why you're not as original at making it your own. That's the description. You can take from everything, because everything comes from something, and then you make it your own. So I think that's the best way.
You've got a formula for how to keep going and plugging and changing?
Well, I'm surrounded with young people and aggressive, optimistic people. Means that if I want to change something, if there's anyone a bit objective, they listen to why it is I want to change it. I get it to make sense to them, and immediately they make whatever changes I need. Youth is very important to me, and that is what has kept me fresh, also with the punk style. I took from that what I needed in style of the hair and a little bit of the clothing, because everything that they do, you can do that with classier clothes, etc. So it's just taking knowing yourself well enough and taking from all of the changes and the progress in the world to adapt to today without growing old. I'm extremely critical of myself, and I think I became what I am from looking at all the old footage. I corrected myself often. I look at now old footage that you have here, and I think, oh, I changed that. Facial expressions, the way that I stood, all of that was to make myself better, or as good as I possibly could be, and staying myself.
There's something about me. Why does the guys like what I do? Why does all the girls want to take off their gorgeous dresses and kick and get high and let their hair down? They want to get wild. Why? Why? Because they've been suppressing something and I didn't. I yelled out, I kicked, I jumped, I did what inspired me. They stuck to the rules. Oh, this wouldn't be very nice. I mean, they were told also I'm self-made. And that's why people pick up on whatever it is that I am about, because I am just natural. I told myself, I learned from experiences. I did what I felt. I do what I feel. What is attractive about me is my energy of, I'm a friendly, clean person. I've been on the light side for a very long time before I start practicing Buddhism. And in my practice in Buddhism, it helped me to really know who I am. I'm a harmonious person. I'm a friendly, harmonious person. I surround myself with that. You come backstage to my show, you don't feel a lot of hostility, not even from the crew people. It's only love, because that's how I am. That's what I insist upon, because I need to feel that around me. When Ike and I were basically working the black clubs, the energy wasn't the same level, because the black people liked to do the body stuff, and I never had time for that. I passed that when we performed for my grandparents, you know, and I always thought that's why we never really got the market, is because of, they called me wild, all that wild gal, you know, because I need to spread my wings. I just like the energy of it, you know. James Brown music, where James was mashing potatoes and really moving around, and I wasn't going to stand there. I needed to do that type. I mean, Jackie Wilson was doing the splits and spins and all kinds of stuff, and that was the energy that I was as well. The same as the situation is now with people saying, how do you do it? And how do you do what? It's naturally me. It's how I am, which has nothing to do with anyone else or anything else. So it is a form of forceful energy to say, I demand that you watch what I do and see what I do and accept it, because it is real and it's authentic. I couldn't see myself. Everyone said, you know, when are you going to slow down? When are you going to put on a wonderful dress and a fur? And I said, you know, it's just not me. That just was not me. I just had too much energy left to do and to enjoy. And that is what I just stuck to. I just forget what the odds. I mean, people threw the age thing and they threw all kinds of things at me. And I just stuck to what I wanted. It was my dream. What I felt about losing the black crowd was that they would have to learn to accept me for the work I'm doing now. It has nothing to do with disliking my black crowd. Mm-hmm. It had to do with the fact that I had to love my music in order for them to be able to accept my performances. Mm-hmm. And my attitude about it is that I won. They are accepting me now. I am getting approval for changing my life and being successful with it, but not really changing. I'm the same person I was. Mm-hmm. It took that for me to become successful. My attitude about it is sometimes you shouldn't care so much about what people think about what you do until you get there, and then you try to fix it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I've learned how to love myself. That's a biggie. I always hated how I looked and that whole thing of, because even when I thought I was looking great and the photographer shot me, I didn't look like what I thought I looked, and I hated the sweating. It took me a long time to get to like me. Last year and this year, I said to myself, oh, I know why I don't like me. I don't look the way I want to look. And then I said, oh, but it's inside. I know it sounds crazy here, but it really went like that. And I found out that I like my personality. I like what people like about me. It's inside of me. And I may never look as gorgeous as I see some of the models or some of those people. You know, that's not what beauty is. It's not always the exterior. I found that it's the interior. So I've accepted me now in the mirror, and I love inside of me. Well, I've learned a lot. I've learned patience. I've learned not to worry so much. Try to worry not so much about what the people say about you, because you compare what they say about everybody, and you live just very truthful within your own life. If you can wake up in the morning with a clear conscience and smile, first waking up without even the cup of coffee, you're all right with yourself. And then let the world go, because you can't stop it by trying to correct every little thing that's said about you, you know. That's one of the things I've learned, and that's something I live by now, and I wake up in pretty good moods. Why I felt so comfortable leaving America was because everyone treated me not as a black person. They treated me just as a star. I have left America because my success was in another country, and my boyfriend was in another country. Yeah. I came here in 1966 was the first time. Rivers Deep Mountains High was a huge success in London. It was it. I had an energy. There was an energy here that brought something out in me that excited me. And I look forward to coming back each time. I've I've lived long enough to know when I found my place, and traveling here since 1966 and now finally getting a place here, I basically have decided to live on this side for the next half of my life. I went to England for a couple of years, and then I met a man, and I lived 3 years with him in his country in Germany. And then I bought a house in the meantime in the south of France, and I started to rebuild that. So I'm in and out of there. That's not a place where I can go often.
Where's home?
Zurich.
Why Zurich?
Because my boyfriend was moved there to run the company, and I always wanted to go to Switzerland, and I was very happy.
And most importantly, knew how to, bring people together. She was cheerful, she was funny, and she just somehow, I guess you call it charisma or her authority, infected everybody. It was very impressive, actually.
Some artists, amazing to work for. You know, I'll give one example: Tina Turner.
Tina Turner.
So dancers are taught that there's a pyramid, right? That the artist is on top, and then it's Camp A, which is like the manager, the assistant, like whoever is really close to the artist. Then it's the musical director, then it's the musicians, and then it's the dancers and crew at the bottom, right? With Tina, there was no pyramid. With Tina, absolutely, she was the leader. There's a difference between boss and leader, right? She was absolutely the leader, and then everyone else. So the person that put that nail down on the stage was just as important as a dancer, which was just as important as the musical director, which was just as important as the drummer. Everyone felt seen. Everyone felt respected. So everyone wanted to come to work.
And once I made the change, Roger Davis, my manager, which is I like to have, I don't want to, how you can say, when you just have one side, you look too much like yourself. So Roger is critical enough to be able to say this is not good and that's not good, and we bounce off of each other in that sense. So I think what true love really is, just to look and see people around you that you love. It's like a whole playground of people that I love.
This band have basically been together 16 years, and it's a nice feeling because it's like a family on the road. We do long tours, but we can do that because everyone gets on. It's a nice feeling.
For me, the people that we're working with keep the energy going for me. I mean, you don't have time to let yourself get down or all of that because everybody's so crazy on the bus, and they're just wonderful people to work with. A bunch of great guys, great nut right here, my partner here. And we just keep each other full of energy. We just give each other energy.
In fact, if anything, we're getting more up.
Yeah.
Okay?
For real.
We're getting more crazy.
And I loved that gig. I had the time of my life on that gig, and she was nothing but gold to me. Nothing but the best.
She just looked at me, and I felt like she has some kind of secret scanner in her eyes that can read whether or not you're going to be a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? She's kind of looking me over. This all-knowing energy. She's such a queen. She's so fabulous. And yeah, I just fell in love with her. Absolutely fell in love with her. And we did a couple of tours. Last tour, when Tina's birthday came, I was inspired to crochet her this beautiful, kind of looks like mohair. It's kind of gray, fuzzy, and crocheted. It was huge. It was really long. And the dancers would, as I was making it, and once it got long enough, one of the dancers would sleep on it while it was, making it. So it was kind of like love energy from all of us, really. And I put it in a little box and brought it to the dinner for her. And she opens it up. She's opening everyone's gifts, of course, and she's loving everything that everyone got her. And she opens up my box and she looks at, she's like, you got this? And I was like, yeah, I made it. And she was like really shocked that I made it. She didn't say anything, but I could feel the energy, And then for the rest of the tour, she wore that thing. She wore it. She loved the drama of it. She loved it. It was just so cute and so sweet because I really wanted her to know how much I love her and appreciate her. And yeah, she's amazing.
Actually, the turning point for me was probably when I got Tina's gig. That was in 1981. Tina's gigs seemed like it's like this gig isn't going anywhere. I've been doing this for like 3 years. I'm playing clubs, 6 nights a week, or hotel ballrooms, 2 shows a night. Like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. So
wow,
I bailed. Yeah. But luckily, I got a call back. So I was fortunate that she really liked me, and she liked having familiar faces behind her. She liked having a band. She liked having her own drummers, and her own guys, and she liked that. Just having her band back there. She wasn't always hiring new people. Every tour, 2 tours. Some people do. Right. So it worked out. It was great. Nice to have a gig that long. I don't know if that happens anymore, but
I have never compared myself with any performer. When I've gone on stage and people have said things like, "You have upstaged," or "You are with so-and-so," or "Do you want the top billing?" What? We're all there together. They do what they're doing, and I'm going to do what I'm doing. We're not doing the same things. Or even we with girls, if it's a girl, something, her performance is totally different. I have never been competitive. And when I enter a room with a woman and she's got that wall, I make her feel welcome. And I do it with everyone because it's like, I'm not here as a threat to you. I used to call it friendly. I said, I'm friendly, but I'm really loving, And the women are all my friends because I'm not a threat. I always have a big smile. And even if they don't smile back, I force them to in a way, because I don't want them to think anything of me except as a friend.
So the music at the photo shoot, were you controlling it, or?
Well, there was a bit of a skirmish over who was going to play what. We finally agreed that, every other CD was mine and every other CD was Courtney's. And
So Tina didn't get a chance to...
She didn't care. Tina was so easy. She was like, whatever, I'll wear whatever, listen to whatever. I got to become a Buddhist, is all I have to say.
We can all learn something from her.
Totally. But she's been around. She's probably so, could care less.
She lives in France. She visits us once in a while.
She's very cool.
Yeah,
I like her.
Tonight, he remembered his friend writing, "I'm so saddened by the passing of my wonderful friend Tina Turner. She helped me so much when I was young, and I will never forget her."
Entrare nella storia, perciò... E poi il fatto che lei l'ha voluto, questa è una cosa che mi soddisfa ancora di più. Lei l'ha fatto e che mi piace, perché poi è bello lavorare con lei e ha tante vite. E questo vuol dire molto, perché ti dà una carica, ti dà una forza. Una che ha vissuto una vita sia privata sia artistica come l'ha vissuta lei, e avere quell'energia ancora adesso.
She was not only really kind to me in the beginning, but just fabulous to work for. But the thing about being with her on tour was unbelievable, because as you can see this live video you're watching right now, she asked me to come and be her support act in Europe back in 1985. And it changed everything for me as a solo performer. It really opened up everything, and I will never, ever be able to articulate how grateful I am to her for that.
And we were on the show with Ike and Tina. I'm 16 years old, so I didn't wear makeup. And so I was coming in from the store one day, and I heard this voice say, "Hey, Gladys." I said, "What?" She said, "Come here for a minute." And so I came down, I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "No, you need some makeup. I'm going to make you up." I said, "You going to make me up?" She said, "Yeah, come on, sit down in this chair." And all the other girls was laughing, She said, "Let her make you up, let her make you up." So I let her make me up, right? And I'm sitting there, and I did look kind of nice. I thought it was really a nice job. And that was the first time I had makeup on stage.
Wow. Done by Tina Turner.
God, she's been so fantastic, because she's just like, you know what, I really I can't help but feel like she's doing this with me. She's like, come on, just give me some more, just to learn from her. Not just professionally what she does, but how she is as a person. For me to get to do this on this scale and with this artist, and this being my first time diving into this arena, it's really a blessing. Everything about this is a gift. Having met her last year, having auditioned for her in her hotel room, having had this incredible experience of being on the stage with this woman. It's totally encouraged me to just kind of keep on
growing and knowing what I want and going for it.
Oh my gosh. I am 17 years old in this video. This is Tina Turner's Love Thang video, and I got cast for this right before I got shipped off to Paris to model. I was a local LA model, and she cast me for this video, and I remember her saying, you know, so many people are threatened by younger girls. I want you young girls around me so that I look hotter. I remember her saying that, and she was super sweet. And then she got me in, so we're wearing Azzedine Alaïa clothing, and she was really close to Azzedine Alaïa in Paris, and she got me in his fashion show. Later in Paris, she hooked that up.
Every station in the whole world, go, well, something happened tonight that it seldom happens to me, but a dream came true for me tonight.
Oh, I thought you.
No,
I thought you meant to drown something.
Oh well, no, but I have been a fan of Tina's for a long time, and I am just thrilled. You know what I mean? And it's seldom that I get thrilled. It's seldom that, because I've just done too much. I've seen too many things. But I was thrilled to be on stage. You're so sweet. And here's what you don't know. I mean, maybe you know it because you see it from, you know, the audience or something, but she is so gracious and so sweet and so nice to let me come up there.
I like the
banging.
I love the ad-lib.
Oh,
It was great.
good.
It's like, I'm not stopping now. So doing mine. And I thought it was great.
But after meeting her and just being around her and her spirit and her, you know, vivaciousness and positive attitude, I just left out of there just flying, you know, and laughing and just ready to tackle it. She did my hair, she braided my hair and put on the wig and did my makeup for me in my trailer. And it was really a treat. You know, I didn't expect that, and it was really wonderful and exciting and very supportive and sister. And when she finished, she said, all right, go ahead on, twin sister.
How do you prepare yourself before each show?
I don't. Except that I don't. I preserve my energy. I only work. I sleep late, and I stay very quiet basically through the day. I am just devoted to the performance, and I nothing happens at all until the night of the performance for me.
It was ingrained in her personality, I guess, to put on a show. If someone's paid money, and she would often chastise the bands. Bands have ups and downs, especially if you're on the road for a long time.
Yeah. You just
road
you
tripping.
can't maintain that level
Yeah,
the whole time.
but Tina could.
Yeah.
I mean, for a 56-year-old woman to be doing 2.5-hour show and, 4 nights a week for, 150 shows in Europe is quite scary. I don't know acts 30 years younger who can do that. It never ceases to amaze me, and I have to sometimes remind her that you're 56, you're selling out football stadiums. And she goes, that's good, is it? I said, yeah. I said, I can't think of anyone else doing it,
Yes! I think that Tina has a lot of energy. She gives people a lot of energy. On the stage, she gives all of us energy. She's consistent. She's always there.
She's got a broken toe at the moment. She hasn't stopped for 3 weeks. She's just incredible. And that sort of confidence and energy to be part of that is, you like it a lot.
She's not someone to be intimidated. I mean, she understood everything was difficult. She handled it superbly well. I mean, she's the least thing she was is a diva. There's certainly no diva in Tina Turner. She was just this very, very strong, very, very wise person. By any measure, just a fantastic human being.
I don't know how she does it. I literally don't know how she does it. Some days when, all of us are dragging our butts, she comes in, okay, let's go.
So we went on to do Let's Stay Together, which was, at that time, the biggest selling 12-inch record in American history. She came in and did that one take straight off. That entire vocal, not a single syllable was changed. Unbelievable. I mean, it's a very rare thing. I've worked with lots of the great vocalists, and she's the only one who's come close. She knew exactly how she wanted to interpret that song when she came in. It's a bit like being a top sportsman. You just got to put the work in, to get to that level. She is brilliant, and a nice person, as well, and not arrogant.
This is a woman who, and I knew at the time that she had some problems with her health, so I assumed she would need to rest, that she would want to take a break, and she'd say, no, I'm doing it. I want to do it. I want to talk. And I think the first day we probably did about 6 to 8 hours of nonstop talking.
Charm and harmony can change the negative into the positive. And that's how I changed it, through love and through getting things done, not from power, but just from love.
What are your feelings about racism, Tina?
What?
Racism.
Well, what do you want me to say?
Whatever.
Well, I think races are growing. People are becoming more enlightened as the years go on. People are fighting for rights. They're getting rights. I think one way or another, some type of destruction, whether it's destruction coming from a spiritual side or from the universe itself that will make changes. It's a long way off, but I foresee some kind of peace for the land. I do.
Ike was arrested on some cocaine charges in Pasadena.
Oh.
Possibly for dealing. Any
Well.
reaction to that?
I'd like to hear all positive things. I'd love to hear that Ike had a record deal and he was producing an album on himself. I'm just a real natural person, I don't really get caught up in a lot of things that bother other people. My attitude about the life is that you should try to enjoy it as much as you can, because the world within itself is one big school and one big education, and you have to try to make the best of it. I'm a happy person normally. I don't dwell. I don't suffer and moan and whinge, as they call it over here. I'm not a complainer. I'm basically an up person. Even in my worst moments there, I still found time to laugh and loud. It's my nature. Because, what can you do once it's done? You just must go forward. And that's how I live my life.
Do you get disappointed when a song doesn't do that well?
No. I accept it, We're not that magic that we can just say, oh, let's write a song, let's record a song, it's going to be a hit. The songs are magic for the ears. And to get all of the people to love it, it's impossible. Like, one must not think that way. It is the worst thing you can do to yourself to think that way. I accept. Well, didn't do good. It's a good song. I enjoyed singing it. It seems today that the younger generation don't seem to want to be that patient and how can you say how you must in this business have patience and be able to delegate and give and accept to be able to get to the place where you want to get.
And I simply want people to know that it doesn't take drugs or alcohol to be successful. You don't have to depend on that to really get there. Just believe in yourself. I don't have time for arrogance. It's stress, it's unhappiness, it's frustration, it's arguments. I think it's better to do it the other way, where everybody is happy and nobody is offended.
Success in America, what I find with my homeland, nothing lasts very long. Europe is different. You're right there with them until you come back.
Do you know why you have been able to sustain that presence in Europe?
Well, remembering my first performance, it was headlines, and people loved the show. It was just the best thing that could have hit Europe, and they never forgot it. I think European people and the English appreciate performance and talent, and they support it. It's kind of how it is there. I never lost the support from the English people or from Europe. Well, first of all, these days you should be happy that you got that far. It's very difficult these days in music. And take advantage of being excited about it rather than wasting the time of worrying, because it's a wonderful moment being there and to actually be there. Pinch yourself and say to yourself, I'm here. The moment of winning has to be when you're really pleased about what you've done. That's what the whole thing of winning is. It's like, look at all the people that have really loved what I've actually done. It's not that winning for myself. Oh, I had the Oscar and I'm standing here before these people. It's like, look what I enjoyed doing. I really don't think a lot about legends and power and people following what I do. I think it's because I don't write songs, I don't produce myself, but I'm performing. It's just performing and enjoying my work, so I don't think so much about titles. A question was asked to me once, do you get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say to yourself, oh, you're Tina Turner and you're the best? Oh, my answer was absolutely no. I I'm far removed from my stage persona when I'm home. I have never allowed Tina Turner to totally take over my life. I love being me too much. I love me more than I love the personification of my career. Off stage, I consider myself really a great person. I like me very much. I like anime book. It's a different personality because I'm not acting. I'm myself. And I'm enjoying that very much, even now.
I don't want to lose sight on life because I'm a prisoner to my own success, you know. I still drive around in Switzerland. Is what I like about it. It's just small enough for me to get around town and pop in the market. You know, there's something about that's part of life. It's like going to buy my own flowers, popping in the market to buy a few things. Yeah, I know you think I'm all draped up and pointed out here and slaves running around.
No, where's the management?
No, it's not my style.
What's it like for an artist going from, you know, playing those conventions with 300 people to playing stadiums?
With Tina, it never made any difference.
Yeah.
She always gave the absolute best that she was capable of giving, whether it was playing at a private function for 5 people, or which she never did.
Yeah.
But she just, it was ingrained in her personality, I guess, to put on a show.
She says in Happiness Becomes You, I think, you know, this beautiful story about how she used to chant for an hour before every concert for the true happiness of her audience. You know, that's just so that's so profound and so rare, you know, I would assume. I found that so beautiful, that kind of merging of the two, of the spiritual aspect with her work.
I feel that if those people are out there to see me, then I must perform for them. I must feel some enjoyment from it. But the most of what I'm there for is for the people. And sometimes there's a lot of improvisation because I get it from the crowd. I want to give a kind of a performance on record and on stage where you can let go for a moment of problems. Take the second of really having a good time, a good performance where everybody can laugh and sing along with the act, clap hands, jump, and leave there feeling that was a good time. Do you understand?
Is it the fans that inspire her to carry on, or is it just your love for singing, Tina?
It's the people.
The people.
Yes, it's at the moment when I walk on stage, there's such a feeling of faces looking back at me with love and admiration, and it turns into a togetherness. It really is about a desire from the people. And the last tour, I actually announced to my audience that I would be back. It was only because of that feeling, because that's the kind of audience I have.
There's nobody more professional, more prepared, more demanding. All that mattered was how that, from the moment you stepped on that stage to the moment you stepped off the stage, what you gave to the people. That was it.
In the beginning, because it wasn't a choice that I made, it wasn't a part of my dream to be a role model. I didn't think of it in that sense. I wasn't looking for that kind of attention, and I had to find out how to deal with it. I'm happy that it came by without me making it a pretentious, something that I want for myself to be recognized as. It just happened because I was living my life, and it was just something very natural.
And I noticed no matter what the age of the person she was engaged with, she was very, very focused with them, whether they're children or mature adults. She'd taken off her costume and her makeup and her wig. And someone came and said, "Oh, the kids about to leave. They would like to say hi and get some autographs." And one of her people said, "Oh, it's too late." And she said, "No, I'll do it." So she put her wig back on. She put her costume back on, and she went out there, and as I was walking out with her, she said, "You know, these kids will remember this day." And she spent 45 minutes talking to them, getting to know who they are, and so on. She somehow was that person trying to impart what she knew about life to others. I saw that all the time, and certainly did for us, those of us who work with her.
I never cared that much for the taste of smoke. I liked how it looked, but I thought it didn't smell good and it didn't taste good and it was hot, so I never smoked. I didn't like heavy alcohol because, it was like bad breath and you felt awful afterwards. And I never cared for drugs. I never tested. I only tested maybe a pill or something when I was hoarse and I had to sing. And I knew that that was that they went steps further into really getting into hard drugs. And from even taking pills to help me to sing, I didn't like the feeling. It was almost like I became numb, and I wasn't absorbing the music. I could not feel the people. And I knew that I didn't want to do that. Natural was it for me. I have an audience and I have young kids, and I remember when I was very young and looking up to movie stars. I mean, can you imagine a child being disappointed from seeing a star that they look up to and somehow they don't get that thing that they want to receive? I care about myself because of my audience and because of my public, but most of all because of myself. I want to look back and see my reflection and like how I look and feel good about it. Our time on this planet is so short, and how would it be if we were able to leave a mark for future generations to consider and be proud? A legacy, you might say, planting and tending the seeds for our young. Endurance. You know, I endured hardship all the way. My legacy is that I stayed on course from the beginning to the end because I believed in something inside of me that told me that it can get better, or you can make something better, and that I wanted better.
You've thought about a lot of things. When do you do your thinking?
Alone a lot. I live alone a lot. I don't socialize an awful lot. I don't listen to a lot of music. And in the quietness of moments, I really go in depth and think of a lot of things. I watch. I see a lot.
First, I have to say that I don't think a lot of people realize how important food for the mind is. They don't understand how important meditation or prayer is. You see, I never stopped. I went from my Baptist prayers to Buddhism. Let's just say maybe it was different words putting in at a time when I needed different words. The Lord's Prayer to Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, and then the book of saying words. Chanting and meditating helps you in every phase of your life. Because that's what I can give you is every day you get up, you dress yourself. And every day you get up, you eat. But every day that you get up, if you don't do some form of meditating, you're not helping yourself spiritually, mentally, the subconscious mind. So it's a tool to help your soul, to help your mind, to help the spirit side of you. And that's what it is. It helps every single thing because it changes your mind, changes your view. What the practice does for me. It helps me not to be upset easily. It helps me to deal with situations on a different level because I think differently about it. I don't get upset as easily. Some people say, I was told that I could get things, whether it's a car or a house, which some people need help in that way. Well, of course, because you change an old style of thinking, which is not very smart, that blocks you from getting where you want to get. But once you start putting words in, the same words, it's like typing in good thoughts. You type it in, and you get a whole rollout of good thoughts. Your brain is thinking good thoughts. Your mind is constantly rolling and saying good things. So you think differently, which helps you to get to where you want to get your car, your house, and to feel good. It's really very important what you say, what you think, how often you say it.
Buddhism is also a way of living, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
It's more than a faith.
Yes. Actually, what happened, how I view it is that it is something that one depends on. Like, I think like I need my refrigerator, I need the clothing on my back, I need shelter, and chanting takes care of that spiritual side, that subconscious mind that I tap into. My reality is God is given us the faith, but we have to find it, we have to work on it to find the God within us. That, let's say that coin.
Is the chant to God?
It is to the coin, let's say, within us, which is the subconscious mind. I found a wonderful place within me that I am. It feels, it's not something that I can actually, I would need as much time as you have had with this interview to explain it. I'm at peace with myself. I can say that. I think I'm over most of my karma. And my life is rolling very harmoniously, and days of happiness. Happiness is not something that's every day, you know, it's spurts of it, which makes it even more wonderful when it comes, you know. My life is good. I can't think of a thing at the moment that I really want to do. If I never did another thing at this time, I'm all right. I feel like I can take a deep breath and say, I'm fine now. I'm okay.
Before I spoke my final words, I thought about the evening, about the long road I traveled from Nutbush to this theater in London, all that I went through, from the beginning of Little Anna May all the way to here. And I thought, I am blessed. Like the sweet and spunky child in the show, I had entered the world unloved, but I went on. I lived through a hellish marriage that almost destroyed me, but I went on. I faced disappointment and failure because of gender, age, color, and all the other obstacles fate placed in my path, but I went on. I found happiness with Irvin, but as you now know, I almost lost everything until love saved me, and still, I go on. My parting words to the audience that night, and my parting words to you, express the way I feel about the story of my life. Remembering the old Buddhist expression, I said, it is possible to turn poison into medicine. I can look back and understand why karma was the way it was. Good came out of bad. Joy came out of pain. And I have never been so completely happy as I am today.
If you don't do what we recommend, you will probably die. So I said, well, if it's time, I felt like I'm late 70s. My mother died at 84. My sister died at 74. I thought maybe this was my time. In Buddhism, you accept the life and the death. Yeah, I was ready. I just thought that it's my time. Death is not a problem for me. I don't really mind leaving.
Right.
I know a lot of people don't think that way, but I'm happy that I do because it's something that is inevitable. So I'm okay with death. When it's time, it's really time. And we do live and die. You have to accept that.
What would you like to come back as?
I'd like it to be easier. What do I want to come back? I think, as a teacher, I think I want to come back with the knowledge that I learned this lifetime. And I think I want to teach spiritually to help people know how to live. Beyond you is in you because you're born with it.
Yeah.
I go beyond my history, beyond my life experiences, my wounds and my sufferings. Go inside of you, true values, you'll find beyond. Religions are related. It doesn't matter what country. It just matters, what matters that you're saying different words, but it all works one way. All we need to know is the love for us, every single one of us. It does not matter if you are Muslim, Jewish, Buddhist, Sikh, Christian, or Hindu, big or small, old or young, weird or beautiful. Love has no boundaries. Nothing lasts forever. No one lives forever. The flower that fades and dies. Winter passes and spring comes. Embrace the cycle of life that is the greatest love. Go beyond fear. Go beyond fear. Beyond fear takes you into the place where love grows. When you refuse to follow the impulses of fear, anger, and revenge. Beyond means to feel yourself. Start every day singing like the birds. Singing takes you beyond, 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 beyond. We need a repeated discipline, a genuine training to let go our old habits of mind and to find and sustain a new way of seeing. Go beyond the rights and the wrongs. Prayer clears the head and brings back peace to the soul. Go beyond to feel the oneness of the unity. Sing. Singing takes you beyond, 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 beyond. We are all the same, all the same. Looking to find our way back to the source, to the one, to the only one. Go beyond revenge. The greatest moment in our lives is when we allow us to teach each other. Go beyond to feel the oneness of the unity. Singing. Singing takes you beyond, 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 beyond. Take the journey. Take the journey inside of you to become quiet, to hear the beyond, to become patient, to receive the beyond, to become open, to invite the beyond, and be grateful. Be grateful to allow the beyond. Be in the present moment to live in the beyond. Start every day singing like the birds. Singing takes you beyond, beyond, beyond. What does love have to do with it? Love grows when you trust. When you trust, love heals and renews. Love inspires and empowers us to do great things and makes us a better person to love. Love makes us feel safe and brings us closer to God. When you go beyond, is where you find true love. Keep singing. Singing takes you beyond. 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 Beyond.
To sit here in the sunset, there's nothing else that I want to do when that happens. It's just to be here. Not even music, just the music of the planet, the sound of life.
They said angels live here when I bought the house. And I think maybe now angels will live here.